Okay. All right, guys. Sorry for the computer crash. God bless technology. Let me make sure everybody is muted out. I think they are, except my fabulous, fabulous co-host. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hard to believe, really hard to believe that it's the end of May. I just said to my hairdresser today when I went to get my hair done, she said to me, I can't believe it's the end of May. I said, yeah, tomorrow it'll be Christmas. Oh my goodness. So tonight's call is one of my favorites, my passion, and it's about unlocking the $1 million mindset that we are all born with. And for those that are new to our call or new to the family, my name is Sandi Cohen. My sweetie is sitting beside me on that big elephant. His name is Eddie, and we have been with Zango a blessed almost 14 years, has changed our lives. At the age of 52, we were $450,000 in debt from the sale of our businesses to people who defaulted, ended up in an 8-year multi-million-dollar lawsuit, and even though we won in court, the only winners were the attorneys because they went out of business about 7 months after we left. So what would you do if you were 52 years old and $450,000 in debt, other than kill somebody? Because that's obviously, it was an option. We seriously thought about it, but the consequence of killing somebody was worse than living through the nightmare because we obviously didn't want to spend the rest of our lives in jail. And so entered the profession of network marketing. And it only took us 8 years to be an overnight success. And, it wasn't that I didn't have a $1 million mindset because I really believed I could do anything. I just had to learn the skills. And I had to try to stay positive. And that's what this session is all about, because a little over 20 years ago, it might even be 21 years ago, a friend that I met from New Jersey introduced me to Esther and Jerry Hicks, and the rest is history. We were able to turn our dreams into a reality. This is probably the most important teachings that anyone who wants to achieve success needs to learn. So if you're like me, you multitask, which is very unhealthy and very non-productive. So I want you to do yourself a favor. Close down all distractions. Shut off your email. Shut off your iMessages. Shut down Facebook. Mute your phone and grab a pen and paper. Now, understand, these calls are all archived in Zango University. So you don't have to worry about, well, I didn't quite get this, or what did she say about that? Don't worry about it because it's all recorded. And this kind of teaching, quite honestly, what we're covering tonight in about an hour and 15 minutes is an all-day workshop, maybe even a 2-day workshop. So get comfortable, get a glass of water, and relax and enjoy the process, because when you teach is when you learn the most. And I am so grateful, and you should be as well, to Vivian, Marilyn, and Tessa, because they have worked so hard in preparation. Where do you see their slides? But there's content that you have to read, then you have to reread, and then you have to determine what are the bullet points, what are the most important things to remember from this lesson. And the book, Ask and It Is Given, is in the university, the ebook. There's also an audio file. But true signs of leadership is always about giving service to others without expecting anything in return. So I need you to all say a huge thank you to the presenters, because they don't have to do this. This is a passion of love for them. And I remember Tessa somewhere in in our group or in an email said, oh my goodness, Sandi, she said, this is probably the most important of sessions for personal and professional growth. So again, I can't thank our co-hosts enough for all that they do, because these calls would not be possible if it weren't for the participation, because that's how people learn, that's how people grow. And Dr. Santry, who has degrees that have degrees that have degrees in psychology, will verify all of this. And we learn by doing. So I guess it's always the same few people who step up and want to promote, because those who are not volunteering to do this are probably very happy where they are. They're probably making all the money they ever dreamed of, and they're living the lifestyle of their dreams, right? I don't think so. So anyway, our first very, very special guest is Vivian, and Vivian has done an amazing job, as everyone has done. And Vivian is going to handle the Chapter 9, and I'm going to turn it over to Vivian. And when you're ready, if I'm not keeping up with you, Vivian, just say next slide. And I'm with you, girlfriend, okay?
Okay. All right, thank you, Sandi,
wonderful.
very much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Okay. Chapter 9 says lots of things that really makes you think, and if you're young, your perspective is probably going to be different than when you're older. But as I read this, I recalled the events in my life over time and realized that the validation of what they were saying. When things are in harmony, they work, and when they're not, they don't work. So here we go. The hidden value behind your emotional reactions are your senses. Your sense of sight, smell, and touch are all vibrational interpreters. Yet they are dissimilar in that each sensor tells you something different. For example, only the touch or feel in your skin sensors tell you if a stove is hot. The other senses usually don't indicate that, even though all are vibrational. You were born with sensitive, evolved, sophisticated translators of vibrations. They help you to understand and define your experience. Next slide, please. Your 5 senses operate in the same way to interpret your physical experience. You were born with emotion sensors that interpret your current emotional state. Next slide. Abraham says, your emotions are your indicators of the vibrational content of your being in every moment. When you are aware of the feeling of your emotions, it brings an awareness of your vibrational offerings. Next. Combine the knowledge of the law of attraction with the in-moment awareness of your vibrational offering, then you have full control of your own powerful point of attraction. With this knowledge, you can guide your life experiences in a way that you choose. Next, your emotions reflect your relationship to your source. Emotions are constant indicators. Abraham refers to it as your emotional guidance system. You have eternal access to your source. Thus, you feel no sense of risk or confusion, only feel sense of adventure and true exhilaration. Your emotions are indicators of your alignment with your source energy. The thoughts that you choose to give your attention to do give you a substantial range in alignment or misalignment with the non-physical energy that is truly who you are. When you are in full allowance of the energy of your source, you thrive. And to the degree that you do not allow this alignment, you do not thrive. When you focus on things that are in vibrational harmony, then you feel free to create, and have absolute joy. If thoughts are contrary to the truth, then you feel disempowerment and bondage. Abraham says to use your emotions to feel your way back to well-being. As was said before, when you are fully aligned with your source, you thrive. When misaligned with your non-physical energy, then you don't thrive. You have the choice of your thoughts as to what you pay attention to, which affects the range in which you are aligned and misaligned with your source. Next slide. With time and practice, you learn how to thrive. You are empowered beings, free to create. So, focus on things that are in vibrational harmony with being free to create. Then you will feel joy. Your sense of well-being will be restored. Your emotions show how much you are aligned with your source. When you think a thought that rings true with you, I think it's the one before that, as who you really are, you feel harmony in your body. You feel joy, love, and a sense of freedom. These are examples of alignment. When something doesn't feel good, you feel disharmony in your physical body. Depression, fear, feelings of bondage indicate misalignment. Next, please. Sculptors mold clay into their carefully thought out desired creation. You mold energy. This creates worlds via focusing your own mind. Next, please. You focus by thinking of things, remembering things. Okay, next, please. Those are the sculptors, okay? So you focus by thinking of things, remembering things, and imagining things. You focus the energy through the projection of thought when you speak, when you write, when you listen, when you are silent, when you remember, and when you imagine. With time and practice, you will feel your way to recreate your vision. With time and practice, you will use your emotions to feel your way to well-being. Next, please. So when should you use this process of scripting? 1, when feeling good and want to add more detail to your life experience in creation. 2, when you want the thrill of identifying and writing down what it is that you would like to experience, and then watch the universe deliver it with all of the details you described. 3, when you want to consciously experience the power of your focused thoughts. Next, please. When your emotional set point ranges between passion and hopefulness, then the scripting process will be of most value to you. If things aren't going the way you wish, rewrite the script in detail as to how you would like it to go. Abraham says that the improved version will begin to happen in your life. You must not hold any contradictory vibration that causes resistance to the new version for it to work. When you ask, it is always given. If something is not coming your way, it is because the thoughts that you practice are contrary to your desire. Nothing else prohibits you from realizing your dream. Next, please. The scripting process, you should describe it in detail, everything exactly as you want it to be. Pretend that you are a writer, and it will be performed just as you write it. Have fun when playing this game, so hindrances won't be aggravated. Use what you're comfortable with, your computer, a notebook, a writing pad, iPad. Everything will be realized because your tools are magical. You find success and achievement if you focus the lens of your desire and you offer no resistance to it. This process helps with being more specific about your desires. It shows clarity about your desires, and you will feel the power of your specific focus. The longer you focus on it, the more detail you give it, the faster the energy moves. With practice, you feel the momentum of your desire. You feel the universal forces converging. You will know when a breakthrough or manifestation will occur through the way that you feel. Because it's like a fun game, doubt and disbelief will not likely surface. So stay light and be playful. You can stay focused with no resistance, and perfect balance for creating anything will be yours for the asking. So play it often, enjoy it. The power of the game will be evident. Things you have written out will play out in your life. You can script any life that you desire. The universe will deliver it to you as you wrote it, because you are the creator of your own experience. It is you that decides what it shall be, and then allow it to be. In summary, scripting is one process which you can use to assist you in telling the universe the way you want it to be. If you are in vibrational harmony with your desire, you know it. It is a physical reality. If you are desiring something that has not come to be, scripting is a way to speed up the process. And I quote from Abraham, "Scripting will help you break your habit of talking about things as they are, and will help you begin talking about how you would like things to be. Scripting will help you offer your vibration deliberately." Next slide. When you script the plot you'd like to live, begin using yourself as the main character. Identify the other characters in the scenario. You write the plot. When you write it, at least initially, writing is a powerful point of focus. And usually once you write it once, it sticks in your brain, even if you never look at it again. The purpose of writing is to practice the feeling of the life that you would like to live. No one else knows or cares if what you vibrate matches with what you are living or imagining. Either way, the universe will deliver it to you. If you regurgitate your script often enough, you begin to accept reality. When you accept it as reality, the universe believes it and responds in the same way. 17, next slide. So, put yourself where you'd like to be. Feel the experience. Do what it takes to get there. Ask, and it is given. And thank you.
Outstanding, Vivian. So much work went into this preparation. So I can't begin to express. I'm so emotional about all of this because this changed my life 21 years ago. And I'm hoping everybody is getting a sense as they read and reread or listen to the audio of Ask and It Is Given. And as you go along in the chapters, I think, there's some greats out there, whether they be Brian Tracy, who I adore, John C. Maxwell, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, who's going to be obviously at our Super XBA. But what makes Abraham, Esther, and Jerry Hicks different than everybody else out there is the sense of the feeling of joy. And Napoleon Hill, which is where they got this all from, the book Think and Grow Rich, which should be a book that is reread at least once a year. And it's in the university in the format of an ebook. But it's the feeling of your emotions at any point in time that vibrates with the universe. So if you're feeling down, you're feeling negative, what are you going to attract? Negativity, obviously. Who knows what the acronym stands for? CANI. C-A-N-I. Does anybody know what that stands for? If you do, put it in the chat window. And if you strive for greatness, and that could be different for each of us, but if you are striving to be the best you can be, you should be committing to C-A-N-I, which stands for constant and never-ending improvement. And as you learn and you grow, and Vivian was talking about scripting, I remember 20-some-odd years ago, we had something called a dream group every Monday night. And there was a group of us women that met. The girl that started it was from New Jersey, and she had been a follower of Abraham for years and introduced the whole thought process to me when it was hard for me to find a good feeling thought for a moment, because, I mean, we were so stressed and taking care of my mother, diaper, tube fed, suctions on oxygen while we were going through the lawsuit. And I started doing what Vivian is talking about, what Abraham talks about, scripting. And I was just learning how to use a computer. So I was typing it all every morning in a Word document. And I will never forget this, when I went to one of my meetings and on a Monday night, and Kathy said to me, well, how is your scripting going? And I said, it's great. I'm doing it every day. I'm typing it in my computer. She says, no. And I know, 21 years ago, computers were not as common as they are today. And she said to me, no, Sandi, you must put pen to paper. There is something about the energy and the focus about putting pen to paper. And the minute I changed from typing in my computer, and I buy these cheap spiral notebooks at Walmart or Target whenever they have a sale. I get all different colors, and I still have I call them my journals. But every day I was writing, scripting by hand what I wanted the universe to bring to me. And very often, Mark Marmon, we laugh about it, the parking genie that we play with. And I don't know how many of you have heard that before or you've tried that before, but this stuff, guys, really, really works. But you have to work hard at it for constant and never-ending improvement if you want to learn and grow. I mean, that's why we do these things. Agreed? Agreed. Okay. So our very next dear friend, and just an amazing presenter and teacher, and someone who is just growing so professionally, is Marilyn Terpeny, and she's going to cover Chapter 10 in Ask and It Is Given. So I'm going to now mute myself out and turn it over to Marilyn.
Hello, Sandi. Thank you. Wow. It's amazing how many different ways the same basic concepts can be said, and with different skills they add in each chapter. So it was great hearing Vivian's and seeing her fantastic slides. Okay, Chapter 10, the 3 steps to whatever you want to be, do, or have. This is part of the creative process. And in step 1, it's your work. You are responsible, and all you have to do is ask. Step 2 is the work of the universe, your higher power, and the answer is given for you. And step 3 is your responsibility, and the answer which has been given must be received or allowed to simply have it, to let it in, and that is your responsibility. Next slide, please. So let's review these a little bit. In step 1, you simply ask, and it comes natural. It's born of your natural born preferences, and they come easily and automatically. Everything from your subtlety of unconscious desires, that are even clear, precise, vivid ones, are the results of
contrasting experiences in your daily life. And if you recall, it's the contrasting experiences which they cause a little tension, and they shape your future and what is the outcome. So the desires or the asking are the natural byproduct of your exposure to this environment. Now, step 2, the universe answers. It's part of your non-physical work of the God force. And all things you ask for, large and small, are immediately understood and fully offered, without exception. So every point of consciousness has the right and the ability to ask, and all points of consciousness are honored and responded to immediately. So when you ask, it is given every time. Sometimes it's given with spoken words, but often it emanates from you vibrationally. It's like a constant stream of personal preferences, and they build on each other, and they're always respected and answered. So every question is answered, desires are given, prayers are answered, and wishes are granted. Some people would argue with that truth because they have, in their past experience, had unfulfilled desires from their own life. And when this occurs, the reason given is that they have not completely understood step 3. And when this happens, step 1 and 2 are ignored. So let's explore step 3 a little bit more. It's the application of the art of allowing what you are asking for. And it's this step in your guidance system whereby you tune the vibrational frequency of your being to match the vibrational frequency of your desire. They have to match. It's like turning on the radio tuner that we used to do years ago, and you match the frequency of the broadcasting station to whatever you wanted to hear. And likewise, your vibrational frequency of your being must match the frequency of your desire. So unless you're in the receiving mode, your questions, and even though they have been answered, will seem unanswered to you. So prayers may seem unanswered. Your desires may not be fulfilled, but not because your wishes have not been heard, but because your vibrations are not a match, because you have not let them in. Next. Every subject has 2 subjects. It's either wanted or it's not wanted. And number 1, your attention must be on what you desire. And what you don't want is the lack of it. So that's why I put it in gray, because we don't want to see it too well. We don't want to focus on it. And this creative process is accruing whether you are consciously aware of it or not. And this is what you desire, and there is that which you desire and the lack of it. Often, even when you believe you are thinking about something that you desire, in actuality you're thinking about the exact opposite of what you desire. The moment you broadcast a preference, your source energy sends it out, receives your vibrational request, and by the law of attraction, it offers immediate response, and then you must align it vibrationally. So number 2, the reason that you are not always aware of your desires not being answered is because there's often a time gap between your asking, which is step 1, and your allowing, which is step 3. So even though a clear desire has emanated from you as a result, the result of the contrast you have considered, you often you have focused your attention purely on the desire itself and focused back on the contrasting situation that gave birth to desire. And when you do that, your vibration is more about the reason you have launched the desire than the desire itself. So, number 3, you allow in the pure connection between physical you and the non-physical you, that being your inner energy, source of energy, your inner being. And what you don't want to find is your emotions indicate your degree of allowing or resisting. So when you find fault or negative resistance to whatever you're desiring, that becomes the magnified focus. Next. So in other words,
Marilyn, your
yes?
voice is fading in and out. So I don't know whether you're using a headset, or you need to get closer to the mouthpiece. Okay, babe?
I'm sorry.
Because you've got such good things to share.
I'm going to go on speakerphone. Is that better?
I think we're okay. Go ahead. I'll let you know if
good.
it's not. Okay.
I tried it without, and I guess it wasn't good.
Right.
All right. In other words, you focus on the reason why. I want to be well, and you don't focus on the cause. I'm going to go across the page here and do the left and the right like they have suggested here. I don't want to be sick. Okay, that's not the cause of the why. In fact, I'm going to read the negative first because I want to end with the positive. I don't want to experience a shortage of money. But the reason is that I want to have financial security. I don't want to be alone. The positive reason is I want the perfect relationship to come to me. The negative is I don't have any money, no time to do the business, and I don't know how to contact people. Well, they're all negative.
Boy, we hear that too often, don't we?
Yes. And so what you want to think is, I want to have free time for my family, money for travel, and a secure retirement. And to the right again, I need a new car because it's getting older and beginning to require frequent repairs. The positive reason is that I like the feeling of a confident, dependable new car that I can not have to worry about. Whoops, that was a negative. Don't add that. You have to keep your emotional guidance system on track all the time. So when you do get the reason why correct and send out the right vibration, it's like a rocket of desire coming forth. And the source receives it fully and responds to it. And you just have to recognize it and allow it in. So one other thing that's good to do is if you know where you're headed before you get there, you will not have to wait until something has manifested in your experience to understand its vibrational offerings, because you're going to tell by the way you feel exactly where you are headed. And as Vivian said, if it didn't turn out right, you probably didn't feel good about it. And because things you feel good about always come out right. And that's a really powerful statement. So if you would turn your attention immediately to the fresh new desire, then your vibrational harmony will bring it to you. Okay, now, as long as you're aware of what you do not want regarding a situation, what you do want, let me read that again, or say that again. As long as you are more aware of what you do not want regarding a situation, what you do want cannot come to you. So you have to continue to hold yourself out of vibrational alignment with your new desire and thus be in the receiving mode. Okay, now the next slide, I guess we're on it. It's not possible for you to consistently feel a positive emotion without something and have it turn out badly. It is not possible for you to consistently feel bad about something and have it turn out well. For the way you feel will tell you if you are allowing your natural being or not. And it doesn't matter what your current relationship is to anything that you desire, because if you pay attention to the way you feel and you direct your thoughts to the better feeling, you can again achieve that vibration. For example, when you're appreciating something or someone you love, those vibrational matches are so positive that they attract. But if you're finding fault with another, you're offering a vibration that doesn't match. So, in this slide, she was frustrated. Esther was frustrated. So she said to Abraham, what can I do about this? And they happened to be in a restaurant, and she was discussing her to-do list, and he said, well, you have to have an emotional set point range, and usually it's between passion and overwhelmment. That's quite a word. And she would write things to do today, and when she finished, it was usually a list that 10 people could never accomplish in one day. And so she was very overwhelmed. And with each new entry, her heart got heavier and she felt less free. And her feelings of freedom were being crushed by the weight of it. So every time she would add something to the list, she'd get more frustrated. So she said, Abraham, what should I do? And he said, well, take this large placemat. Let's draw a line down the center. And on the left side, you write things that I will do today. On the right side, you write things I would like to do, the universe to do. And so that's what she did. And she realized that she had only two things to accomplish. She must identify the object of her desire, and then she must get out of the way to let it happen. And when she did this process of transferring, her resistance began to soften, and her vibration level began to lift. And her point of attraction shifted, and it didn't even require extra time because she was focusing on her list, and the universe was taking care of their list, and she got twice as much done, even more than that, because she now had leverage and help. And so when you ask, it is always given, but you have to let it in. So they were leaving the restaurant one day, and Jerry, her husband, said, do you want to take the placemat with you? And she said, no, I'm just going to leave it there. Let the universe take care of it. Because, as Vivian said, once you script it out, it's in your brain, it's in your heart, and you know what it is. And there's no follow-up. It's just a steady stream of well-being flowing to you. And there were four things that she said really helped in her thinking to take action on a day. She would only put down what was something that she would absolutely do that day, and the four words were, I prefer, I like, I appreciate, and I want. And for the universe, you have to tell it once, and then you can revisit and refine it. There's no follow-up. It's a constant stream. And then you can say, I want it to be this way, and the universe will manifest. Or I would like it to be this way, and the universe modifies it. And a little bit of this would be nice. So, in summary, we have the same thoughts flowing over and over, but each chapter gets clearer and clearer, and is beginning to feel like a release, and that you feel so uplifted after reading each chapter. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. And, it's interesting. As we go through each chapter, it builds upon the one before. So if people haven't read and kept up and tried it, well, let me just start with chapter 9, or let me start with chapter 11. It doesn't work, guys. And you have to practice each chapter with the processes that are offered. And it's just it's almost magical that when you start to understand that you get what you think about, and it relates to not only what you want, but how you feel, what you appreciate. I mean, this stuff is magical. And obviously, Marilyn and Vivian have done an extraordinary job. And by teaching, how do we learn? We learn by doing. So they're light years ahead if you have not just read the chapters, but if you're not teaching it, it's not as effective as if you were. So thank you again. Outstanding job. And now our friend Tessa from St. Louis. Are you with us, Tessa?
I am. This book is so exciting.
Okay.
I love it, Sandy. Love it. Well,
I can't imagine why we don't have 500 people on this call.
5,000. Not just 500, 5,000. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, perfectly. I muted myself out so you have a clear line. Go for it.
Good. Well, chapter 11, and this is building on just what you said on what Vivian had done and what Marilyn has done. It's building on one chapter after another. And what I have found is it's so important for us to do the practices, not just read it, but to do it. And so I commit to reading this book and doing it over and over and over. And so chapter 11 is, with practice, you will become a joyous, deliberate creator. So this chapter is the introduction for us, and I'm going to use we instead of you, just so that we can claim it. So as we consciously consider the way we feel, we will get better and better at directing source energy. And we will become a disciplined and joyous, deliberate creator. And this slide says you are the creator of your own experience. We live in a vibrational universe, and we have control of the signal that we emit. As we focus creative energy, two factors to consider: the intensity and the speed of the energy, our level of allowing or resisting it. First is the length of time that we have desired and to what degree we have become specific. Example, being specific is feeling, visualizing, and being in higher vibration. Our summoning power is greater than if we just thought of it. So it's so important. I'm going to say it again. Being specific by feeling it, and you can change the slides whenever you want, Sandy. I'm not going to tell you to change them, just do it when you want. So our summoning power is greater than if we just thought of it. By feeling, visualizing, and being in higher vibration. That means that we need to be in joy. Pet your cat. Do anything to feel in a higher vibration. Joy. Think of something good. Our summoning power is greater than if we just thought of it. Once we desire, our desire has been achieved, that sort of power and speed. It is easy for us to feel how we are doing. If we are imagining and our emotion is one of anticipation or eagerness. So when you get the simple premise that what you think and feel and what manifests is always a match. Nothing is ever unexplained. Again, it is so. So there can be no chaos. There can be a lot of moving parts, but there is no chaos, because chaos only happens when you don't understand law of attraction. We can always tell by the way we feel whether in this moment we are a match to our desire or a match to its absence. And Marilyn and Vivian were saying the same thing in a different way. We must be a match. So whether we are allowing or resisting our desire, it is not about controlling our thoughts. It is about guiding our thoughts. And this is really important. It's about guiding our thoughts, not controlling. Abraham is encouraging us to make an effort to guide our thoughts with feeling. It is about reaching for a feeling rather than it is easier way to hold our thought and vibrational alignment. The law of attraction is magnetically attracting and organizing our thoughts. You are the owner of all that you perceive, and you can perceive apart from your vibration. Or you can't, rather. You cannot perceive apart from your vibration. Feel your way, little by little, into a greater sense of abundance by looking for the treasures that the universe is offering you on a day-by-day basis. It's really practice that we must do. It's practicing all of these processes in order to get to where we want to go. But it's the feeling, and it's being at a higher vibration. Remember, whatever we give our attention to, a thought, that thought immediately becomes activated with it. So the law of attraction immediately responds. As we continue our focus, what we focus on expands. More powerful thoughts are joined by others. Like it. When our practice thought becomes a dominant thought, whenever we have consistently focused on a subject, causing a consistent vibrational activation of it within us, it becomes a practice of dominant thought. Once that happens, things that match it will begin to manifest around our dominant thought. Just watch for it. Once our focused attention has sufficiently activated a dominant vibration within us, things wanted or unwanted, and this was just mentioned in a different way earlier, will begin to make their way into our personal experience. It is the law. How to effectively become a deliberate creator. We are creations already. Remember, before we can effectively benefit from paying attention to our emotions, we must first accept the well-being. That well-being is the only stream that flows. We can allow or disallow. There is only one stream of wellness. When we are allowing or resisting, we can tell by the way we feel. We are supposed to thrive, and we are supposed to feel good. If your desire is strong enough, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, and this is really important. That desire will be the dot that will override any other vibration that we have. We are loved, and well-being is constantly flowing to us. And if we allow it, it will manifest in all manner of ways. Whatever we are giving our attention to is already pulsating an energy vibration. I'm going to say that again. Whatever we are giving our attention to is already pulsating an energy vibration. With enough focusing on this thought, practicing this vibration, we form what is called belief. And I just said what the belief is. Anything that we can give our attention to will become our truth. The law of attraction says it must. Our life and everyone's is but a reflection of the predominance of our thoughts. There is no exception to this. Stop beating the drum of what you don't want. Have you made a decision to direct your thoughts? To be a deliberate creator of our own experience, we, or I, will be one who has decided to direct my thoughts, and it will affect our own point of attraction. We cannot continue to discuss, observe, or believe things the same way we always have and make changes in our point of attraction. Our vibrational frequencies have to match. Every emotion that we feel is about our alignment or misalignment with the energy of our source. Our emotional guidance system is the key to helping us understand. We cannot focus, and I think that we can also say, I'll stop right here for a minute, that it's our intuition, which is sort of our emotional guidance system. If we will listen and be quiet, that's the same as our emotional guidance system, is the key to helping us understand. We cannot focus on what we want and think about what we do not want. By paying attention to our emotions and by deliberately offering thoughts that affect the way we feel, we can consciously guide ourselves into the vibrational frequency that will allow the fulfillment of any desire that we hold. Can we accept ourselves as a vibrational being? We live in a vibrational universe, and we are more energy, vibration, and electricity than we realize. The universe does not know whether the vibration that you're offering is because of something that you're observing or something that you're remembering or something that you are imagining. It just receives the vibration and answers it with the things that match it. Once we accept ourselves as a vibrational being who attracts all the things that come into our experience, then we will begin the awesome journey into deliberate creation. Once we realize the correlation between what we are thinking and what we are feeling and what we are receiving, now we have it. Now we hold all the keys that are necessary to get from wherever we are to wherever we want to be on all subjects. And I'll just give a very short process, the outline of the process of channel 11. Process 11. This is segment attending, and this is how we do this. It's really important for us to, it's sort of like our intention that we're putting on it. For instance, if it's a phone call, I'll say, I spoke at a group yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, my intention was to connect with every single person there. And I did. But it's so important for us to set our intentions before a phone call, before we take a car ride. Just say, my intention is to arrive safe and not hurry and be unhurried when I get there, and that it will be very great. If we set our intentions, and that's the same as segment attending. Whatever we're doing, if we will set the intention, for instance, if there's a phone call, my intention is whoever this is, we're going to enjoy the chat, and they're going to feel better by having spoken. So whatever our intention is, it's a power. This is a power in the process of segment attending. It is the process whereby you define the vibrational characteristics of the time segment that you're moving into. It is a way of pre-paving your vibrational path, so to speak. So for easier and more enjoyable travel. So it really is the same as setting your intention. It's segment attending. You enter a new segment anytime that your intentions change. For instance, if you are washing dishes and the telephone rings, you enter a new segment. When you get into a vehicle, you enter a new segment. When another person walks into the room, you enter a new segment. So anytime, and it really is intention. What is your intention? When you walk into a room, just for example, I said, this speaking is going to be so good in touching the hearts of everyone. And it did. So if we set the intention before we go into a meeting, this is going to come out and it's going to be a win-win situation. So it is the intention that we have before any kind of event, whether it's going to sleep at nighttime. My intention is to get a good night's rest, wake up refreshed and happy in the morning. So whatever it is, if we can all practice intending what that segment is going to be, it will come out smoothly. You're writing the script of what your outcome is. I love this, by the way. So as we are moving through such a day, we will feel the power and the momentum of our intentions building. You will find yourself feeling gloriously invincible, and you will feel as if there is nothing that you cannot be, do, or have, as you are seeing yourself again and again in creative control of your own life experience. And so it is.
Tessa, that was so amazing. And, as I'm rereading Ask and It Is Given, it made me realize that over 20 years ago, I implemented all these practices and didn't even realize that I'm still doing it. And, like I say to my grandchildren, how many days does it take to change a habit? Who knows the answer? Put it in the chat room, the chat box. How many days does it take to change or make a habit? Oh, we got some smart people there. Of course, Marilyn has the answer immediately. Tessa, no, Robert, Elliot, it's 21 days. So I challenge you for 21 days be deliberate in your intention or your segment intent. I still do this to this day. Before a trade show, Eileen Cohen just did a trade show last weekend. I was helping her remotely, and I still journal or script every single day. I have a little notebook in my purse, and before every call, before a meeting, I always script how I want to feel at the outcome. I don't say how many people I'm going to sign up or how many new partners I'm going to have. It's about how am I going to feel. Just allow the attraction of like-minded people who want joy, who want optimal wellness, who want prosperity, come to me and build the relationship from there. I mean, it's all about that feeling. What do you want to feel as a result of anything that you're doing? I mean, this stuff is magic, guys. I challenge you, 21 days, just get to this point where you're going to read these chapters and stop and practice every single day, implementing what you're learning. This pre-paving stuff, laugh if you want, because I know I did 21 years ago. I left you out right. You're going to tell me, I'm going to think positive thoughts and pivot and not focus on anything negative. My life's going to change. How the heck is that going to happen when my life was upside down? But it did, guys. It did. So between this book and Think and Grow Rich, and if you're committed to personal growth and professional growth, this is like fundamental 101 stuff. And thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Vivian. And here's a big challenge, okay? Can you go just 24 hours with the clock starting right now? So it's 7 o'clock Pacific time. Can you go for 24 hours with no complaining, no negativity? If you start to have a negative thought, change, pivot quickly, and think of something positive. I challenge you for 24 hours, no negativity, no complaining, not even one teeny weeny little negative thought. And then tomorrow night before you go to bed, put in our Facebook group, in our private Facebook group, and you all know where that is, what started to happen just by going 24 hours without complaining or without a negative thought. Because when you give thought to anything, good or bad, you're deliberately creating whatever it is you're thinking and feeling about. And I'll share with you something I learned 20 years ago. And it was from a rabbi, and she had it on her program just as I was being introduced to Abraham. I mean, it was like the universe was giving me all these signs that I wasn't supposed to suffer. I wasn't supposed to be so darn depressed. I wasn't supposed to have all that struggle. And on the front of the program at High Holiday Services was the quote, and you should write it down, and I've been using this for over 20 years. You are where your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be. You are where your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be and how you are feeling. Because all that we are a result of what we think. The mind is everything, and what we think, we become. Now, that's Buddha. That's a quote from Buddha. So, in summary, in closing, obviously the Paradise trip is coming up. Qualification, I believe, goes to the end of July. I mean, in the early days of Zango, you had to be a superstar galactic premier to go to a trip and all expenses paid. People who didn't even join yet today, to join us at the Now Sapphire Resort in Cancun. $388 a day per person, and Zango pays the bill. Nothing as sweet as traveling twice a year, February and August, with Zango picking up the tab. So if you do what you should be doing anyway, sharing incredible products, guess what? They reward you handsomely. So go to Zango.com/paradise to check that out. And we all know events are not negotiable. How many of you listening want real success? I mean, you must, or you wouldn't be on this call for an hour and 6 minutes. It's because you want a better way of life. Well, where are the leaders? The leaders are at the event. So don't tell me you want a better life if you don't show up in Las Vegas June 2nd to 4th. There's still some tickets left. The VIP are all sold out. Only $39 get your butt in the seat to find out about the new products that they are launching. Who wants special pricing on new products before anybody else? If you do, then you need to be in Las Vegas in June. Now, it doesn't start to get really, really hot until July, but of course Eddie and I love it here in the summertime because everything is air conditioned. And I'd rather experience the heat in the summer than the snow in the winter in Philadelphia. So go to Zango.com/VegasXBA. Get your tickets. I hope there's still some rooms left at the Green Valley Ranch in Henderson. This property is absolutely gorgeous, 5-star. They've got the most amazing rate. And I have to tell you, in the early days of my career in network marketing, when I didn't even have $39 to attend an event, I had to borrow it, we would have 5 girls in a room with a schedule for the bathroom because there was only one bathroom, and we'd all have to get up an hour and a half earlier to double check when we were going to be able to use the bathroom, and we all brought fruit, and in those days I think they were called power bars, and that's what we lived on for 2 or 3 days. But let me tell you this, every one of us that went, the next year we were achieving the ranks we wanted to achieve. So there's going to be lots of training in addition to revealing some of the new products. So with that, I'm going to end. I'm almost afraid to play this song for fear that we're going to crash again. So for right now, again, let's all say thank you to the speakers. I'm going to stop the recording and then do a little bit of housekeeping.